make sure it's going to be what's this working along with the Congress, and what needs to be changed. There seems to be some such resistance with the reproductive health bill. Something needs to be amended.
Well, if only the oppositors had allowed the RH bill to reach the period of amendment, they would have seen, and we could have shown to them, that we RH bill authors were open to revising, or rather amending or even deleting some, not all, some of the provisions they were opposing. Wag lang yung heart of the bill.
What is the heart of the bill?
The heart of the bill is to provide access to information about and access to services and products for both natural and modern family planning methods. That's the heart of the bill. So what may need to be changed that could and should have been the subject of deliberations if only they had allowed the process to proceed. If I get to work in the Senate, I would be with the Slamat Lord majority refiling an RH bill, and I'm sure Akbayan and other advocates in the House will also refile the RH bill. And under an Aquino Rojas administration, I would be very optimistic, given the stand of our President, Senator Noynoy Aquino, for a responsible parenthood bill and program. I would be confident that the legislature and the executive would be able to reach a consensus on finally passing such a bill into law, and the executive implementing it through the Department of Health and the Department of Education.
That's heartening to know, because not everybody actually read the RH bill.
Oo nga.
From my imagine,
including the oppositors.
Right, that's why. So, and one of the issues, and I can direct this to Yasmin, and I think you would know this issue so hard to your heart, is the maternal health. So, even if the RH bill is not going to be passed, how can you help in lowering the mortality rate for the maternal health, especially in Mindanao?
Yeah, already even before the bill was still in the process of being filed and asking to sponsor it in the House and in the Senate already, because the maternal mortality rate in the ARMM is very high. We've already, as a women's rights activist, working with my NGO and other women's rights NGO in the region and even at the national level, we've already started a process where we've informed all key decision makers of the facts about the maternal health situation, and with the help of some funders, like for example UNFPA, they've tapped the religious leaders. That's the opposite of what's happening in the Catholic, no? Because here we have the Muslim religious leaders, the muftis, no, like the bishops, already into the advocacy, no? And just so that they could have an idea on how the religious aspect of it is supportive of maternal health, they've been taken to other Muslim countries, for example, Egypt, where the Al-Azhar University, the oldest Muslim Islamic university in the world, they were sent there, and they've met with the Grand Sheikh of Al-Azhar, because the university itself is very supportive, no? Because they have a medical school also, Al-Azhar Medical School, where doctors in the Al-Azhar University do provide services to women to prevent maternal mortality and morbidity, and of course infant mortality and morbidity. And so from Al-Azhar University, they've been sent to other Muslim countries where they have very good reproductive health program, Bangladesh, Indonesia. And so they've talked to these religious leaders of those countries. And so therefore, the advocacy is very much, as I would say, it's in the hands of people whom we are counting on would help so much in pushing it, especially the religious sector. So now the problem now is, if at the, let's say, Muslim community level or ARMM, there's positive environment, no, for religious leaders. The problem now is the mainstream majority Catholic Christian who's opposing the bill, which is on religious grounds. And so then you see here the issue of a minority majority situation, where you have the Muslim minority in a religious frame and context. There's no problem with RH, and you have a majority Christian Catholic bishops who are opposing it. And so at the end of the day, it's a question of representation. And if we have very small representation within the House and within the Senate, the support for the RH bill that is acceptable amongst Muslim religious leaders would still be very small, no? And so we're looking at a situation where, if we will not be able to pass it, we'll work very hard together with the Akbayan and those who will be elected in the Senate. Then our option is to have it passed in the ARMM, original version of the RH bill, because we cannot push it where we don't have the votes. But then if within the regional legislative assembly of ARMM, where they're all Muslims, where we can use the influence of our religious leaders, then most probably we can get it. And that's where I'm concentrated on, and my organization and other organizations that I'm affiliated with are looking at particular situation, like if not nationally, then maybe we can do it regionally and armed. And already at the provincial levels, we're already pushing for RH ordinances by the LGUs, the same as what the other LGUs here, when you can't have it, they do the ordinance when the LGUs are supportive of the RH bill.
But how would you add to the maternal health situation, even if the RH bill is not in place yet?
Well, for one, the women cancers are rising in incidence and account for a growing number of deaths among Filipino women. Breast cancer, cancer of the uterus, cancer of the cervix, and even of the ovaries. So one of the things that I would like to work on with a Slamat Lord majority in the Senate, if I get to work there, is for free testing, diagnosis, and treatment of these women cancers, several of which are very easily and economically detected and even economically treated. So at an early stage, when upon discovery, then the chances for survival would be higher. So that's just one of the overlaps between health legislative agenda and women legislative agenda, like the RH bill, that I would like to work on further in the 15th Congress.
I think I'll pass it on muna to the others, so that we can have some questions. Who would be next? Merck?
Yes.
Ano yung position niyo dun sa struggle ng mga Bangsamoro for a Bangsamoro domain? Especially your vice presidential candidate, Maro Asafleria, strongly opposed the idea of having a BJP sa kainitan yun ng issue.
Of course, the issue, if you're going to look at the root cause of why the Bangsamoro is asking for this, is if you've read your history, it's what they call historical injustice. And so you have economic marginalization, political subordination, social, the social aspect of us being minoritized, and culturally the othering, and the discrimination by virtue of our identity and all that. And so with that, you have a situation where in Mindanao, there's what they call, there's poverty in Mindanao, but there's second level